Welcome to this new website, this new YouTube website. I'm Hugh Thompson. I was born in New Zealand on the 30th of the 11th, 1949. And I'm the founder and director of the World Teaching Foundation, but it's for parents too. For be the best parent, be the best teacher. I have a PDF file to send you if you send me your email. And you can read it in your new ebooks, 150 pages on the professional development of education. But to make children compliant and happy in the schools, it's very simple. You use a little star system I've developed, and I call it Olympian Star Awards, with the Olympics coming to London. It's a guidance program for schools. This plastic star token system with telling display or badge holders enables teachers for the first time to award up to 5 token stars a day per pupil. Not one a month. That's all the praise the child gets if they're lucky in a school today. This is a sufficient number of positive responses a day. Now listen carefully. To extinguish. What does extinguish means? It means it never happens again. You put out the fire, they're never naughty again. To extinguish all unwanted behaviours from all classrooms, any age group. And of course, once it's extinguished, you won't need the star system. You'll just give your attention compelling lessons and the kids will love you from then on. It is a unique, never before designed teaching and parenting aid. So here's a little bit more about me. But I want you to keep watching, because I am going to breach the copyright on YouTube deliberately with the BBC. I'm going to play you a clip from their show Doctor Who. So here it is here, just warming it up. And if they object, I can put in an objection counter notice to their objection that I'm breaching their copyright, because it's important that we're allowed to use clips, because we funded these shows, the Doctor Who, and we should be allowed to use these clips on the internet to communicate with each other. So I'll let that run while I show you a little bit more about me. Now, I established the foundation in 1990. That goes a long way back. I came from New Zealand in 79, and by 1990 I'd travelled the world. I'd met the top professional development educators, and here's one here. You can't read it because the light's off it, but I'll read it to you. Hugh, man of hope. That's the subject. This is 2002 from Mallory, davidseminars.com. Dear Hugh, now if you ever get a grown-up writing you a little email like this, you know that you haven't been abused as a child, and you've had a fulfilling life, you've done all your dreams and more, and met some of the most interesting and professional people on earth who really do care about the rest of us. Not like our WikiLeaks kings with no clothing, that we just see that they're just nasty, spiteful leaders running our world at the moment. So we've got to get rid of them all. Jean Genet's play, The Balcony. Go and read it. That's how you get rid of your leaders regularly. Dear Hugh, you are surely a man of hope and of fervent resolve. I honour that and honour you as you continue your efforts and sustain your vision. David Mallory. He's Germantown Avenue, Philadelphia. I'll give you his link to his seminars. I hope he's still doing them, but he was once the greatest professional development and educator in America, and he did all the work for the private schools, and he's well retired now. So he gave me the most amazing book, and I looked it up on the internet, and you can get it at Amazon. Spare the Child: The Religious Roots of Punishment and the Psychological Impact of Physical Abuse. And that's what we're talking about on this clip, by Philip Grevin, and you'll find it there for $10, £10 a copy. So the main aim of the Foundation's work, while offering professional development for schools, teachers and parents, is to promote the Convention on the Rights of the Child worldwide. Now, this is a legally binding document on all the governments of the world who've signed up to it and have promised to do the following things in the following articles for their children. And instead of making war, this is what we want our governments to concentrate on now, because it's the human age now. One of the Convention's key strengths is that it recognises that rights must be actively promoted if they are going to be enforced. Awareness isn't enough, and we see our governments talking the talk but never doing anything, never getting thousands of volunteers into the schools to video every classroom every day and transmit it on the internet so every parent can watch every child in every school in the land and make sure they're not punished, let alone humiliated by the state, because the teachers are the state, taking over our children's minds and throwing them out useless. Our education system's going down the drain. So we've got to get rid of our schools, start our own schools with this new government. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, it's UNICEF, as you know, recognising that the child, for the full harmonious development of his or her personality, it's the personality we're looking at, not the behaviour, whether they're good or bad. It's developing their personality, and that's what I've written about in my guidance system, how to develop all the positive characteristics that you really would like your children to have as adults. Should grow up in a family environment, so no more family courts separating children. Let the parents work out how they get on with each other and their children if they're in different homes. Let them work it out, nothing to do with the government. In an atmosphere of happiness, love and understanding. An atmosphere of happiness. How much happiness do you see out there anymore? Love, it's all selfish, me, me, me. It's not giving anymore, but Christmas you might have started giving a little bit. And understanding, well, there's no understanding because no one's studying it, and the BBC isn't passing on any useful information, except for this clip that I'm going to show you of which we've passed, of here he comes, of child abuse. You're going to see Doctor Who go back in time and undo the child abuse. Now, this is one of the greatest movies ever made on this planet for people to watch. So I'm going to have to find out who wrote it. But he wrote this and showed you the effect of child abuse, turning this lovely little boy into this ogre of a man, controlling the earth, or this planet that we colonized, and doing terrible things, loaning money and keeping people's body frozen in case they didn't get paid back. So so here we go. Considering that the child should be fully prepared to live an individual life in society, no one promotes individual living and autonomy, and brought up in the spirit and ideals proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations, and in particular in the spirit of peace, Governments don't want peace, do they? They're all linked to the armaments industry and banks one way or the other. It's all to do with creating armaments and siphoning off government funds. Dignity, so we want peace, dignity, and that's the most important thing. Tolerance, there's no tolerance anymore. Police locking up preachers on the street for saying homosexuality is a sin in Christian eyes. Freedom, these warrants, European warrants, there's no freedom left. We can be whisked off to another country without any evidence. Equality, there's no equality anymore between the rich and the poor and the sexes at work or anywhere else. And solidarity, the unions have been broken and there's no solidarity anymore. Or very little. Except for the students. Well done, students, going out to protest. You're going to be paying off 50,000 plus interest over your lifetime.
You don't have to let that happen.
I know, but I'm going to. Bye-bye. Bored now. Shut.
So, Article 16.
There are 4,003
No child shall be subjected to arbitrary or unlawful interference with his or her privacy. Family, no family courts, secret courts, home or correspondence, nor to unlawful attacks on his or her honour and reputation. So you can't criticise the child to his face in front of anyone else. Now, did you see this? Did you see that?
Get him out of here! Get that foul-smelling family out of here!
He tried to hit that child, but couldn't, because it reminded him of him being hit by his father. Now we're coming to this part.
Simple life. You didn't hit the boy.
Well, I will next time.
You see, you won't know why. What am I missing?
Get out. Get out of this house.
The chairs, of course, the chairs. Stupid me, the chairs.
True.
There's a portrait on the wall behind me. It looks like you, but it's too old, so it's your father. All the chairs are angled away from it. Daddy's been dead for 20 years, but you still can't get comfortable where he can see you. There's a Christmas tree in the painting, but none in this house on Christmas Eve. You're scared of him, and you're scared of being like him, and good for you. You're not like him, not really. Do you know why? Because you didn't hit the boy. Merry Christmas, Mr. Sardu.
I despise Christmas.
Shouldn't. Very you.
It's what? What do you mean?
Halfway out of the dark.
Get her downstairs with the others and clean up this mess.
It's offline. Secondary furniture rented. Have you got a plan yet?
Yes, I do.
Are you lying?
Yes, I am.
Don't treat me like an idiot.
Was he lying?
So we see an example of this man who's ruthlessly ruling this planet. And this is what our masters are now doing, ruthlessly ruling the world, the banks and the governments and military, and leaving us to poverty and to pay off their debts that they ran up in their banks. Now we're going to run out of time because we've got 1 minute left. So we're not going to see a video that Doctor Who finds of the child being beaten by his father. But this is the most impressive video you'll ever see. So it will be in the second one. I will stop it and start it. So here we go. I'm going to have to stop it and then it'll be part 2. So BBC, take me to the Millennium Court. Well, I'll take you there if you object to me using this clip for social reasons, to enforce governments to act, to protect us, not to talk about it, not to have the laws, but to have people going into the schools and into the homes to see what's going on. And to help people, we need help.